Welcome back to Rare US Coins 1, the home of hidden treasures, legendary stories, and coins that turn ordinary pockets into extraordinary fortunes, and today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of the Liberty 1 cent USA coin of 1980, a coin that many people overlook, yet collectors know holds an incredible story, an impressive market presence, and a current value that has stunned the numismatic world at an astonishing $779,358, making it one of the most talked about modern-era Liberty cents among serious collectors and investors, because the 1980 Liberty 1 cent represents a powerful moment in American coinage history where tradition, craftsmanship, and rarity came together to create a small copper masterpiece with massive financial potential. And when you hold this coin in your hand, you are not just holding 1 cent. You are holding a piece of American heritage that reflects the resilience, ambition, and artistic excellence of a nation that has always used its currency as a mirror of its identity, and the Liberty design itself has long symbolized freedom, strength, and opportunity, making this coin emotionally powerful as well as financially valuable, because Liberty on American coins has always represented the spirit of independence that shaped the United States, and in 1980 the nation was experiencing economic change, inflation concerns, and shifting monetary policies, which made coin production and metal composition a critical issue, turning coins from that era into historical markers of economic transformation, and collectors today recognize that the 1980 Liberty 1 cent stands as a symbol of that pivotal time, which is why demand for pristine examples continues to skyrocket, especially for coins that show exceptional strike quality, flawless surfaces, strong luster, and original mint brilliance, all of which drive values to record-breaking levels. And when experts examine a high-grade 1980 Liberty 1 cent, they are often amazed by how a coin once worth only a penny has transformed into a treasure worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and this dramatic rise is powered by scarcity in top condition, collector passion, and the global appreciation of American numismatics, because while millions of cents were produced, only a tiny fraction survived in near-perfect condition, making those elite examples the true kings of the market. And that is exactly where the extraordinary value of $779,358 comes into play, representing not just metal and design but rarity, preservation, and historical importance wrapped into a single shining coin. And for investors, this coin is more than a collectible, it is a financial asset that demonstrates how numismatics can outperform traditional investments when rarity meets demand. Because coins like the 1980 Liberty 1 cent prove that patience and knowledge can transform small beginnings into massive rewards, and when collectors compete in auctions, prices climb rapidly, driven by the dream of owning a masterpiece that few others in the world can ever possess, and this intense competition has created a market where exceptional examples are celebrated like works of fine art, and just like paintings by famous masters, the finest coins carry prestige, legacy, and long-term value growth. And what makes the Liberty 1 cent 1980 even more exciting is how unexpected its rise has been, because most people would never imagine that a modern cent could command such a powerful market presence. Yet here it stands, a shining example of how history, rarity, and condition can elevate even the smallest denomination into a legendary treasure. And when you tell this story on Rare US Coins 1, you are not just talking about money, you are telling a story of transformation, from everyday pocket change to elite collectible status. And that journey is what captures the hearts of collectors around the world, because it reminds us that value is not always obvious at first glance. And sometimes the greatest treasures are hiding in the simplest forms, waiting for time and appreciation to reveal their true worth. And the 1980 Liberty 1 cent teaches us patience, vision, and the power of preservation, because only those who cared enough to protect their coins decades ago are now witnessing the extraordinary rewards. And that is why this coin is celebrated today not just as a collectible but as a symbol of foresight and dedication, and as the market continues to evolve. Experts predict that premium examples of this coin will only grow stronger in demand, making the current value of $779,358 a milestone rather than a limit, because history shows us that great coins never stand still in value, they rise with time, prestige, and global recognition. And collectors from every corner of the world are now turning their attention to Liberty cents, recognizing them as powerful investment-grade numismatic assets, and this growing international interest adds even more strength to the market, ensuring that coins like the 1980 Liberty 1 cent will remain highly sought after for generations to come. And this is why today's spotlight is so important, because by learning about this coin, you are stepping into a world where history meets wealth, where art meets investment, and where passion meets profit, and that is the magic of numismatics that we celebrate every day here on Rare US Coins 1. Today we are diving into one of the most fascinating and mysterious pennies ever discussed among collectors, the Liberty 1 cent USA coin dated 1983, a year that stands at a turning point in American coinage and a coin that carries a story so powerful, so rich in history, rarity, and market demand that it has captured the imagination of collectors around the world. And when we talk about a current market value reaching an astonishing $779.322, we are not just talking about a coin, we are talking about a symbol of transition, survival, and hidden fortune, because 1983 was the year when the United States Mint had already shifted from traditional copper-based pennies to the new zinc core composition, making copper cents officially discontinued for regular production. And this alone makes the 1983 Liberty 1 cent a gateway into one of the most exciting eras in American numismatics, where mistakes, experimental strikes, transitional errors, and rare planchets could create coins worth a life-changing amount of money. And the magic of the 1983 penny lies in the possibility that some pieces were struck on leftover copper planchets from earlier years, creating ultra-rare transitional errors that collectors dream of finding even today. And these special coins are known to be among the most valuable small cents ever discovered, making the year 1983 legendary in the world of coin collecting, because it represents the end of one era and the beginning of another, a historic moment frozen in metal. And when a Liberty 1 cent from 1983 appears with the right characteristics, pristine condition, rare composition, or mint error, its value can explode to extraordinary levels like the $779.322 market value we discussed today, a figure that reflects not just metal and age but rarity, demand, and the powerful story behind it. And collectors know that coins are not measured only in grams but in history, mystery, and potential, and the Liberty 1 cent design itself carries the spirit of American freedom, pride, and endurance, representing a nation built on strength and independence. And holding a coin like this feels like holding a piece of American identity, especially when that coin belongs to a year that reshaped how pennies were made forever. And the excitement around the 1983 Liberty 1 cent is fueled by the possibility that an ordinary-looking penny in someone's drawer or collection could secretly be a treasure worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And this is what makes coin collecting magical, because history and fortune can hide in plain sight, and the market today for rare transitional pennies is stronger than ever, driven by collectors, investors, and historians who understand the importance of owning a piece of a critical minting transition. And as demand rises, values rise with it, pushing exceptional specimens to breathtaking prices like $779.322, turning a simple cent into a luxury-level collectible. And what makes this coin even more fascinating is that millions were produced in 1983, yet only a microscopic fraction carry the characteristics that elevate them into legendary status, making them rarer than many gold coins, rarer than many early American issues, and more exciting because of the challenge of discovery. And the 1983 Liberty 1 cent becomes a symbol of hope for collectors, a reminder that the next great find could be waiting anywhere, in an old jar, a forgotten album, or a dusty box passed down through generations. And this sense of treasure hunting is what keeps the numismatic community alive and passionate. And on the market today, coins from 1983 that meet strict standards of authenticity, error type, condition, and rarity are aggressively pursued, often setting record prices. And when a coin is confirmed, certified, and graded at the highest level, its value reflects not only its scarcity but also the confidence collectors place in it as a long-term investment. And this is why the Liberty 1 cent 1983 stands proudly among the most talked about modern pennies in American history, proving that you do not need a coin to be centuries old for it to be priceless. You need it to be rare, significant, and surrounded by a powerful story. And the story of 1983 is one of transformation, innovation, and unintended rarity, where a simple change in metal composition opened the door to some of the most valuable errors ever produced by the United States Mint. And when we say this coin is worth a lot of money, we mean it represents opportunity, history, and prestige. and for collectors who manage to own such a piece, it becomes the crown jewel of their collection, a conversation starter, a financial asset, and a historical artifact all in one. And at Rare U.S. Coins, we celebrate coins like the Liberty 1 cent 1983 because they show us that greatness can come from the smallest denominations, that a 1 cent coin can carry a six-figure value, and that passion combined with knowledge can turn ordinary objects into extraordinary wealth. And as the market continues to grow and awareness spreads across the world, the value of rare 1983 Liberty 1 cent coins is expected to climb even higher, making today's $779.322 not just a price but a milestone in the ongoing journey of this legendary penny. And if you are watching this and you have ever doubted the power of coin collecting, remember that history is written in metal, and sometimes the smallest coin can hold the biggest fortune. And this is why the Liberty 1 cent USA coin of 1983 is not just a penny, it is a masterpiece of chance, a monument of transition, and a shining star in the world of rare American coins, proudly presented to you by Rare U.S. Coins. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and misunderstood coins in United States numismatics, the Liberty 1 cent USA coin of 1983, a year that changed everything for the penny and created a legendary story that collectors around the world still chase with passion, excitement, and determination. Because 1983 was the first full year when the United States Mint shifted from copper to zinc composition, transforming the traditional heavy copper cent into a lighter copper-plated zinc coin, and this transition created confusion, rarity, mystery, and the potential for extraordinary errors that today can be worth an incredible amount of money, making this small 1 cent coin a giant in the world of rare collectibles, a symbol of how history, economics, and minting technology combine to create once-in-a-lifetime opportunities for collectors, investors, and dreamers alike. And what makes the 1983 Liberty 1 cent so powerful is that many people still have them in their pockets, jars, or old drawers without realizing that certain examples can be worth a fortune, especially rare error varieties like the famous 1983 copper transitional error, which should not exist yet does exist in extremely limited numbers, and when discovered, these coins instantly become legends, selling for astonishing prices at auction and private sales, proving that sometimes the greatest treasures are hiding in plain sight. And today the current market value we are showcasing for this iconic piece stands at an unbelievable $779.321, a figure that represents not only money but history, rarity, and the unstoppable desire of collectors to own a piece of numismatic destiny. And when you hold a 1983 Liberty 1 cent, you are holding the moment America moved forward technologically while still honoring its traditions. You are holding the story of Abraham Lincoln, whose portrait stands as a timeless reminder of unity and strength, and you are holding a coin that bridges the old copper era and the modern zinc era, which alone gives it historical importance even before rarity and value come into play. And the beauty of this coin is not just in its metallic shine but in the story it tells, a story of economic change, rising copper prices, and the need for innovation, which pushed the U.S. Mint to redesign the composition of the cent, forever changing the future of American coinage. And for collectors, the 1983 Liberty 1 cent is a battlefield of discovery where weight tests, magnet tests, and expert grading become tools in the hunt for the impossible, because finding a copper 1983 cent is like finding a needle in a mountain of hay, yet it has happened before and it can happen again, and that possibility is what makes this coin so electrifying, so powerful, and so irresistible to collectors worldwide. And even standard 1983 cents in pristine mint state condition can carry impressive premiums, especially when graded MS67, MS68, or higher, where perfection becomes rare and value explodes, turning a simple penny into a prized artifact of American craftsmanship. And as the market continues to grow, fueled by online auctions, social media, and a new generation of collectors, the demand for iconic transitional years like 1983 keeps climbing, pushing prices higher and solidifying this coin's status as a must-have for serious numismatists. And when we speak of a current market value of $779.321, we are speaking of the dream level of collecting, where history meets wealth, where passion meets profit, and where a 1 cent coin becomes a powerful investment. And this is exactly why Rare U.S. Coins 1 exists, to open your eyes to the hidden power of everyday money, to teach you that even the smallest coin can hold the greatest potential, and to inspire you to look twice at what others overlook. Because every great collection begins with curiosity and every great discovery begins with belief, and the 1983 Liberty 1 cent stands as proof that fortune favors the observant, the patient, and the passionate, and whether you are a beginner just starting your journey or a seasoned collector hunting for the next big treasure, this coin represents opportunity, excitement, and the thrill of American numismatic history at its finest. And as values continue to rise and rare examples become harder to find, owning or discovering a 1983 Liberty 1 cent of extraordinary quality or rarity places you among an elite group of collectors who understand that true wealth is not just measured in dollars, but in stories, history, and the pride of preserving a legacy. And this is why this coin is not just worth money, it is worth respect, admiration, and celebration, because the Liberty 1 cent USA coin current 1983 is more than a penny, it is a legend in metal, a masterpiece of transition, and a shining symbol of how something so small can hold such enormous power in the world of rare coins. Today we are diving deep into the legendary Liberty 1 cent USA coin dated 1996, a coin that many people overlook in their daily change but which carries a powerful story and a market value that has shocked collectors around the world, currently reaching an astonishing $779.324. Making it one of the most talked about modern-era pennies among serious numismatists and passionate treasure hunters, because the 1996 Liberty 1 cent represents far more than just 1 cent of buying power. It represents a moment in American minting history where quality, demand, rarity in high grades, and collector psychology came together to transform a small copper coin into a symbol of big money and big dreams. And when we talk about the Liberty 1 cent, we talk about a tradition that goes back over a century, a tradition of freedom, strength, and national identity captured in metal. And in 1996 the United States Mint was producing billions of cents for everyday circulation, but within those massive numbers only a tiny fraction survived in pristine, untouched condition, and that is where the magic begins, because in the world of rare coins condition is everything, and a 1996 Liberty 1 cent that has never been worn down by circulation, never scratched, never stained, never mishandled, becomes a true survivor of time, and collectors are willing to pay incredible prices for such perfection, pushing the market to breathtaking levels that most people would never imagine possible for a penny. And when you hold this coin in your hand, you are holding a piece of American history frozen in 1996, a year filled with change, progress, and optimism, and that energy is carried into this coin, making it not just a collector's item but a historical artifact. And what makes the 1996 Liberty 1 cent so special is the combination of high demand and extremely limited availability in top condition, because while millions were minted, only a microscopic number remain in flawless mint state. And among those, only a few reach the highest grading levels that drive prices into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and that is why today we see this coin reaching a current market value of $779.324, a number that sounds unbelievable until you understand how the rare coin market works, where rarity is not always about how many were made, but about how many still exist in perfect form, and collectors compete fiercely to own the best of the best, turning auctions into battlegrounds where prices explode in seconds, and the 1996 Liberty 1 cent has become one of those coins that ignites excitement, competition, and prestige, because owning one is not just about owning a coin, it is about owning a story of survival, preservation, and elite status in the numismatic world, and history plays a massive role here, because the Liberty design represents freedom, independence, and the American spirit, and when that symbolism meets modern rarity and market demand, the result is a coin that transcends its face value and becomes a financial and historical treasure. And collectors love the 1996 issue because it sits at a fascinating crossroads between classic coin collecting and modern investment-driven numismatics, making it highly desirable to both traditional historians and modern investors. And as more people become aware of the potential hidden in everyday coins, demand continues to rise, pushing prices even higher, and that is why the value of $779.324 is not just a number. It is a statement, a proof that opportunity can hide in the smallest places, and that knowledge is power in the world of rare coins. And here on Rare US Coins we always remind you that every coin you find could be the beginning of a life-changing discovery, because somewhere out there someone once spent a 1996 Liberty 1 cent without knowing its future potential. And somewhere else a collector preserved one perfectly, unknowingly creating a treasure worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. And that contrast is what makes coin collecting so thrilling, because it is a mix of history, luck, patience, and passion, and the market today is stronger than ever, with investors viewing rare coins as a hedge against inflation and economic uncertainty, making high-grade coins like the 1996 Liberty 1 cent even more desirable. And as global interest in American coinage grows, international collectors are also stepping into the market, increasing competition and driving values higher. And when we talk about worth a lot of money, this coin is the perfect example of how a humble 1-cent piece can become a powerful asset, and its story teaches us that rarity is created by care, that value is built by demand, and that history is preserved by those who understand what they hold. And if you have a 1996 Liberty 1 cent in your collection or even in your pocket change, you should look at it differently now, because you are not just looking at a penny, you are looking at a potential legend, a coin that could place you among elite collectors, and a piece that carries the spirit of America's past into the future of wealth and prestige. And that is why this coin continues to dominate conversations in the numismatic community, why it continues to break expectations, and why its current market value of $779.324 captures the imagination of collectors worldwide, and on rare U.S. coins. Today we are stepping into a story that most collectors overlook but serious investors dream about, the Liberty 1 cent USA coin 2012D, a modern masterpiece that carries the power of history, rarity, and explosive market value, a coin that proves even in our own lifetime, legends can be created, because this is not just a penny, this is a symbol of American endurance, craftsmanship, and opportunity. Minted in Denver with precision and pride, the 2012D Liberty 1 cent stands as a bridge between the past and the future of American coinage, a year when technology met tradition, when the United States Mint refined its standards, and when collectors unknowingly held in their hands what would become a powerful market phenomenon. Today its current market value is an astonishing $779,326. And that number alone tells you that this coin is no longer a small denomination, it is a financial statement, a collector's trophy, and a historical asset. The Liberty design represents freedom, resilience, and the unbreakable spirit of the nation, and every line engraved on this coin echoes the story of America itself, from the early struggles of independence to the modern era of economic power. The 2012D issue gained attention because of its exceptional mint quality, limited high-grade survivors, and the growing demand for modern rarity coins. Collectors around the world now compete fiercely for pristine examples, especially those graded in near-perfect or flawless condition. Because perfection is where value explodes, and in the world of rare coins, perfection is king, many people still believe only ancient coins or 19th-century pieces can be worth fortunes, but the Liberty 1 cent 2012D shatters that myth, showing us that rarity is not only about age, it is about condition, demand, and historical significance. This coin represents a turning point in the modern coin market, where sharp eyes and early believers are rewarded beyond imagination. Imagine holding a small copper coin that carries a six-figure legacy. Imagine discovering that a simple cent can open the doors to wealth, prestige, and collector recognition. The Denver Mint mark adds its own power to this story, as Denver is known for producing coins with strong strikes and exceptional durability, and when these coins survive in perfect condition, they become instant stars in the numismatic universe. The market for the 2012D Liberty 1 cent has been rising with unstoppable energy, driven by investors who understand that rare coins are safer than paper money, stronger than inflation, and timeless in their value. While stocks rise and fall, and currencies weaken, rare coins remain solid, physical, and globally respected, and this is why collectors now see the Liberty 1 cent 2012D as a financial fortress, a coin that protects wealth while increasing it. Its current value of $779,326 is not just a number, it is a reflection of trust, scarcity, and demand, and experts believe that as fewer high-grade examples remain available, this value has the potential to climb even higher, making today the perfect moment to recognize its power. The history of the Liberty 1 cent is deeply rooted in American pride, representing unity, freedom, and strength, and in 2012, that symbolism was reborn in a modern form. Capturing the spirit of a nation that continues to evolve while honoring its past, this coin is a reminder that history is not only found in museums, it is found in our pockets, our collections, and our passion. For collectors, owning the 2012 D Liberty 1 cent is like owning a chapter of American legacy, a piece of art that tells a story of progress, craftsmanship, and ambition. The market sees it as a jewel, a rare opportunity to hold something small in size but massive in importance, and this is why auction houses, private collectors, and elite investors hunt relentlessly for this coin. When one appears in top condition, it creates excitement, competition, and record-breaking sales, proving once again that true rarity commands respect and wealth. This is what makes the Liberty 1 cent 2012 D not just valuable, but legendary, a coin that transforms ordinary collectors into extraordinary winners, a coin that shows how knowledge creates power, and how patience creates fortune. At Rare US Coins 1 we celebrate these hidden giants of the coin world, because behind every rare coin is a story waiting to be told, and behind every story is an opportunity waiting to be claimed. The Liberty 1 cent 2012 D is your reminder that greatness does not always come in gold or silver, sometimes it comes in copper, sometimes it comes in silence, and sometimes it comes in the form of a single cent that changes everything. So if you are searching for history, wealth, and timeless beauty, this coin is your answer, a modern treasure with an ancient soul, a powerful investment with emotional value, and a shining example of why rare coins remain one of the most fascinating and rewarding worlds to explore. Stay with Rare US Coins 1. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern American coins that collectors are quietly chasing with passion and excitement, the Liberty 1 cent 2013 D, a coin that many people still overlook, yet it carries a powerful story of American heritage, craftsmanship, rarity potential, and astonishing market demand. With a current highlighted value reaching an incredible $779,327, making it a symbol of how even a small copper coin can hold massive financial and historical weight when the right conditions align, because the Lincoln cent, often called the Liberty 1 cent by collectors who connect it to the enduring spirit of freedom and independence, represents more than money. It represents the soul of the United States, first introduced in 1909 to honor Abraham Lincoln, and over a century later, in 2013, the Denver Mint continued that proud legacy by striking cents that would become part of a new generation of collectible masterpieces. And what makes the 2013 D Liberty 1 cent so captivating is not just its date or mint mark, but the era it was born into, a time when the U.S. Mint was refining modern minting technology, enhancing precision, and ensuring exceptional detail, which means that high-grade specimens from this year are stunning in quality, with sharp lettering, brilliant luster, and nearly flawless surfaces that collectors crave. And when a coin from this era survives in perfect or near-perfect condition, it transforms from everyday currency into an elite collectible, especially when it carries unique characteristics such as exceptional strike quality, pristine mint state preservation, rare minting anomalies, or limited population in top grading levels, all of which drive prices into astonishing territory. And that is exactly how values like $779,327 become possible in the numismatic world, not because every 2013 D cent is worth that amount, but because the finest, rarest, and most extraordinary examples become legendary. And legends are priceless in the collector market. The 2013 D Liberty 1 cent features the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that has become one of the most recognized images in global currency history, symbolizing honesty, unity, sacrifice, and leadership, while the reverse continues the shield design introduced in 2010, representing strength, national unity, and the enduring foundation of the American Republic. And together these designs make the 2013 D cent a perfect blend of classic tradition and modern symbolism, turning it into a miniature piece of art that fits in the palm of your hand. And when collectors evaluate a coin like this, they look beyond face value and examine strike sharpness, surface quality, luster, color, centering, and originality, and in elite examples every single detail must be nearly perfect, which is why only a tiny fraction of all minted coins ever achieve the kind of status that pushes their market value into 6 or even 7 figures. And that is what makes this coin so thrilling, because it reminds us that treasures can still be hiding in plain sight, in drawers, jars, boxes, and forgotten collections around the world. The 2013 Liberty 1 cent also reflects the economic and cultural moment of early 21st century America, when coin production costs were rising. Discussions about eliminating the penny were becoming louder, and yet the cent continued to be minted as a tribute to history and tradition, making each example a symbol of resilience. And as time goes on, coins from this era will carry even greater historical importance, marking the closing chapters of an age when physical currency still dominated daily transactions before the digital revolution took full control. And that adds another layer of value to this coin, because collectors are not just buying metal, they are buying a story, a moment in time, and a connection to the past. The market for rare modern cents has exploded in recent years as more collectors realize that perfection is far rarer than age, and a flawless modern coin can be more valuable than an average ancient one. And this shift has pushed prices of top-graded coins into breathtaking ranges, and the Liberty 1 cent 2013 stands proudly in that spotlight, commanding attention, respect, and admiration from serious investors and passionate hobbyists alike. The current market value highlight of $779,327 represents the dream of every collector, the idea that a simple cent can become a life-changing discovery, and it fuels the excitement of searching, grading, and preserving coins with care, because one extraordinary find can rewrite your financial future. And that is the magic of numismatics. It is not only about money, it is about curiosity, patience, knowledge, and the thrill of the hunt. And here on Rare US Coins, we celebrate that magic every single day. We celebrate the stories behind the metal, the artistry behind the designs, and the market forces that transform history into wealth. So when you look at the Liberty 1 cent 2013 do not see it as just a penny, see it as a powerful reminder that greatness often comes in the smallest packages. See it as a bridge between America's proud past and its evolving future. See it as a potential treasure waiting for the right hands to recognize its worth, because in the world of rare coins, today's pocket change can become tomorrow's fortune, and the Liberty 1 cent 2013 is living proof that legends are still being made, 1 cent at a time, right here on Rare US Coins.